Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Hello, you nerds. It's Tejas and Dinkar from the Geek Podcast, which you're about to hear in a bit. But before that, an advertisement.
Hello. The Moja Club makes awesome funky socks that you can buy individually or even better, in a pair. It's crazy, I know. You could get a subscription and sign up for 6 months or a year and get a pair delivered to your house every single month. And they will even throw in one pair for free.
And exclusively for you Geek Fruit nerds, get a full 33% discount. Just go to their website, themojaclub.in, and use the code GeekFruit, that's without spaces, during the checkout.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and let's be honest, not everyone can understand all of it. That's why you should be listening to Simplified, where Chuck, Naren, and Shriketh take on the big issues in the world today and explain them to you in a simplified manner. They delve deep into the subject, by which I mean they go right up to the 5th page of Google results. I bet you've never done that. New episodes of Simplified are out every Monday, and you can check it out on the IVM app or wherever else you listen to podcasts. It's not that complicated, but if it is, then maybe you should talk to the guys from Simplified and ask them to do an episode on that.
You're listening to the Geek Fruit Podcast.
Tejas, let me tell you a story.
Do tell.
I was in a bar once, and I looked over to my left, and there was this guy there with a glass eye and a hook for a hand. And I was like, that is weird. And I said, hey man, sup? And he was like, arr, sup with you. And I was like, I get it. He's a pirate that I just made up because this entire story is a lie. So I was like, why do you have a hook for a hand and a glass eye? And he said, oh, well, I was out to sea and a shark bit off my hand. And tradition is pirates get a hook for a hand. So I got a hook for a hand. And I was like, cool. Why do you have a glass eye then? And he says, well, I looked up into the sky on my ship and a seagull pooped in my eye. And I said, dude, you can't lose an eye because a seagull pooped in it. And he said, but it was the first day with my hook for a hand. And I was like, are you Irish? Also, I made this entire story up. And we are talking about pirates today.
Oh my god. That was terrible. And I had to hear it twice because you had to actually rehearse that joke. Oh my gosh. All right.
I think it was worse the second time around.
We're going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, though I'm not inclined anymore. But to make it all better, we have a special guest coming in. Do you want to know who it is?
Yes.
Well, you're only going to find out after the break.
Hi, I'm May, and I'm a huge fan of the indie music scene in our country. A scene that's relatively underground, even though it sometimes speaks its head overground, but there's no shortage of talent, and I get the privilege of interviewing some of the most awesome musicians on my show. I've had the likes of Euphoria, Kirsch Kale, Hardcore, Randolph Correa. I've had singer-songwriters, folk singers, electronic music producers, playback singers, rappers, fusion artists, instrumentalists, classical musicians, and so on. Whether mainstream or not, these people have chosen to release their original music, and these are the people currently shaping the direction in which our music scene is heading. Join me on my show every Monday and tune in to discover the unique talent coming out of India today. You can catch Made in India on your favorite podcasting app or our very own IVM podcast app.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. This week, we have Dinkar. Hi Dinkar, what's up?
Hey, hello, what's up?
Enough about you. We have a special guest on the show. It's IVM head honcho, Amit Doshi. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for being on this strange episode. I mean, for you to choose to kind of be in.
Because I finally have something which I've seen the movie before you guys talk about it.
Yeah, this is true. You actually saw the movie which we're going to be talking about, which is Pirates of the Caribbean 5, but people are calling it Pirates of the Caribbean Salazar's Revenge because that's the actual name of the title of the film.
Or Dead Men Tell No Tales, depending on where you live.
This is true. So, why are we talking about Pirates of the Caribbean? Like, did this franchise end before the 4th movie came out? We have a 5th movie now.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It was so I don't know.
Are you a fan of it?
It's a
I'll take that as a no.
No, it's not. No. I am sort of a fan, right? But I mean, like, some of those movies were not good.
I think the first is good.
The first is good.
And it steadily declines from there.
Well, I actually like
I like
this
the
one,
third.
though.
I like the third one. And I thought this one was okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. I don't think it was by any means perfect, but I think recently I saw The Circle, and literally everything I've seen after that has been a miracle of cinema. Because that movie was atrociously bad. Like, it was crazy bad. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, so I quite enjoyed it, actually. I thought it was, so I mean, like, listen, it's pirates, right? It's trash. You know what you're getting in for. You're not expecting, like, deep cinema or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was fun. Ships were doing crazy shit. I mean,
Yeah,
like, people were
I
jumping
agree.
all over the place, I mean, like,
Yeah.
it was fun,
It was fun.
I got what I wanted
There
out
were
of it.
some really entertaining set pieces.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
like, and I'm starting to see this more and more as this franchise, like, drifts along. I'm seeing it more as, like, the first one seemed to have, like, a genuine story, like The Curse of the Black Pearl. That was a really cool story.
Yeah.
And I think it was also just novelty when it came out. But, like, then the following films just seem to be, like, gigantic set pieces. How can we string the story around this?
I think
it's
that's-
like essentially like what a Bollywood movie or what Mahesh Bhatt does.
I think that's
make songs.
I think that you're being unfair to Bollywood when you say that, because I think that's what's happening with Hollywood big budget movies too.
But Mahesh Bhatt does do this.
Yes, he does.
He writes 30 songs, and then he picks five in a group, and then he strings a story around it. Like, disagree with me. I'm telling you this.
I do not disagree with you. I agree with you completely on that. But my point being that this is what's happening in a lot of other stuff too, right? I feel like the Transformers movies for the last 5, which I guess is all the movies that came out.
All of them.
Is basically a question, okay, set piece 1,
yeah.
set piece 2, set piece 3, how do we link them together?
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I want to make a clear distinction between, I don't want to say this is the intelligentsia type of film, but I think there's a cerebral blockbuster, and then there's the mindless stuff, right? So Transformers, Fast and the Furious,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, if Pirates, I feel like is a fine line between them.
No,
but not a fine line, but
it's
Pirates
definitely
is
on the mindless side.
Yeah,
if we graph it out,
it's on that side. It's on the mindless
but
side.
I still think there's there was a lot of heart in the previous,
first one.
Yeah, in the previous installments. I like the ending of the third one. For example. So, but my point is that I think what Marvel or DC are attempting to do is trying to create like this. When I say cerebral, again, I'm using it very loosely. But even what Chris Nolan does is that's a cerebral.
So what Chris
blockbuster
Nolan
film.
does is a cerebral blockbuster.
Yeah.
What I think, what the Joss Whedon, Marvel, etc., that doesn't feel so cerebral to me. That feels like more
maybe
like
right.
stringing set pieces together.
Sure.
But let's be honest. Let's be clear about this. The pieces that string the set pieces together, those pieces of string, those are much, much more attractive in the Marvel movies than they are in the Pirates of the Caribbean,
Fair
or they are in
enough,
Transformer, but they still feel like that kind of...
Also, the string has been much longer for a very... they've literally threaded together like an entire franchise.
It's how they build their individual movies as well as the entire universe, which is basically a movie is a set piece and they're stringing together.
Yeah.
It's,
that's true.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
Very good point.
Okay, well, meta, man.
Yeah. Even one further. You went one further. Nice. All right, cool. Let's talk about Pirates of the
except
Caribbean.
Ultron, on whom there are no strings anymore.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there. There are no strings on me. Well done. But Dinkar, what is your opinion of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise? Quickly.
The franchise in general, I loved the first one, and I had the same issue with the second and third, which was, they were really confusing. Do you remember, especially when I watched the second one? The first one was this very clear story of there's this young couple, Will Turner's trying to rescue Elizabeth Swann, and he finds Johnny Depp. So I can actually that's pretty much it. I cannot recap to you 2 and 3 because there was so much going. 4, I literally remember nothing of.
So I remember 4 somewhat, right? Because 4 was the first one.
Fountain of Youth. I want to say that was
what
it was about.
That was the 4th one.
Yeah.
And also the 4th one had it
was called
Blackbeard
on Stranger Tides.
Yes, it had Blackbeard.
Blackbeard. So I can't remember that.
Blackbeard? Do we remember any of this? Oh, it was Ian McShane, was it?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yes.
It was Ian McShane.
My gosh.
Penelope Cruz was his daughter.
Whose daughter?
Oh yeah, that's
Blackbeard's
right. Blackbeard's
daughter.
daughter.
Okay.
She was Miss
That's
Blackbeard.
That's correct. She was.
Okay, fine. Wow. Well
That's
done,
how confusing it is,
Together
right?
we have pieced together the
and the connective tissue that they use to string together all these set pieces is basically
Jack
any
Sparrow?
sort of not just Jack Sparrow, any sea-related mythology you can think of. Poseidon, Triton,
I like that,
Blackbeard.
though. I
Just
do
throw
like
it all
it.
in.
Yeah, even I enjoy
because
that part of it, right?
where else will they get to use these kind of these
That's
ideas?
true,
Let's it's lore for us because we know of I think using Bill Nye as Davy Jones for Davy Jones is cool. I thought that was pretty cool. and we're going to be talking about him
Are we really?
more. But,
are we really?
But, wait.
Are we really?
We are. No, but my point is, okay, so we're going to get into some spoiler territory, but so just for anybody who's listening and actually cares. But okay, cool. So we're going to just sum up what happened in the first trilogy. I don't think the fourth movie is very connected to this, but I feel like the previous three are. So in that series, Dinkar, you want to just like encapsulate the bullet points because we quickly went over them before we entered the theater.
Hold on. So 1 second. Just quick, since you did, we're spoiling shit here?
Yeah, let's spoil it.
We're spoiling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can ask a question then.
Oh, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
So 1 sec. So Will Turner got trapped underneath in the ship in the third movie, not the fourth movie?
In the third movie.
He was not in the fourth, which is why this became such a big deal. Or so to speak, such a big deal is because they were all returning. The entire cast was returning. So
that goes to show how memorable those movies are.
Exactly. So we were literally, before we walked into the movie, just trying to recollect what happened at the end of the third one because we knew they were coming back and we were like, where are we? And thankfully the movie included like a 5-minute recap at the start.
And not badly done. I was about to, so in the beginning of the film, the first thing I told Dinkar, I was like, you know what, I'm really getting tired of these prologue flashbacks, cold opens.
Oh, really? I missed that. No, I actually got there too late for that.
Every Avengers film or every Marvel film seems to be beginning with a prologue, like a cold open.
Yeah.
Like a cold open, 1967, this happened.
Okay.
Dude, for real, right? Ant-Man has it. Civil War has it. There's a lot of
Wolverine had one, right?
Which one?
Wolverine had one too, right?
Logan? Did it have? I don't think so.
I don't remember.
No, Logan starts with the car scene where he's asleep in the limo.
Yeah, but that's not a cold...
It's not a prologue.
It's not It's not like a previously like a flashback kind of thing. But this one seems to have that thing. But I think they did it well, and it sets up with Will Turner's son trying to rescue his father's young child. And
it sets up everything. Basically, it's like, okay, this is Orlando Bloom's kid, and he looks like Orlando Bloom's kid.
Does.
Dude,
Good job
looks
there.
and he sounds exactly. It was so weird.
That girl looked like Keira Knightley,
yeah,
didn't she?
Yes, they essentially just did
exactly.
that.
So I was just like thinking, like, dude, you got Oedipal issues.
True. But okay, sorry, we were trying to recap the third film.
Okay, it's
what
pretty
happens
simple.
At the end
All that matters is that Will Turner is stuck on. He's doing Davy Jones' job now, which is like ferrying
Why does that
lost
happen?
souls
Because
or
somebody
whatever.
has to do it, I suppose.
Yeah, I forget what, but Davy Jones is freed and Will Turner has to take his place.
He takes her like it's like a sacrifice.
They get married. Remember, there was this big
that.
scene
That was a good
where
scene.
Barbossa marries
Elizabeth
and Will while there's this giant fight going on around
it was
them.
awesome,
Right.
That was really cool.
It's a great scene, yeah.
Especially like for 10 years ago, those special effects blew my mind. I was like, how are they doing
in
this?
in the maelstrom that's
Yes.
happening, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay.
Almost a lot of that
I
happening
can't
in this
remember.
Almost immediately after that, he gets trapped and he's cursed to come to land like once every 10 years or something.
Yeah, something like that. He puts his heart inside a cave.
Inside a chest.
Chunk or something.
Which is
it's like
basically
Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's literally it. He replaces Davy Jones as captain of the Flying
And
Dutchman.
it's a very sad sacrifice kind of thing. Jack Sparrow is just off to his own antics and things like that, and that's about how it ends. And
then he comes back to land once every 10 years or so. One of those times...
he realizes he's got a kid.
No, I mean, like, one of those times he made the kid, I assume.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, he's like, hey,
what's up?
Nice to meet you, kid. Then, we meet young Will Turner, whose name I've already forgotten.
It is
Henry
Turner.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's right. I was guessing.
I'm sure they were as well. They made that. What do we call him? Henry? Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So Henry is now, he's a nerd basically about like sea legends.
Yeah, he's like he's basically the mythical side to Karina's scientific side, which is not well resolved, by the way, in the movie.
It's not.
Not really.
But we'll get to this. And so we meet both these characters, and they're both trying to find their fathers, or at least find the tools that'll help them to retrieve their fathers from wherever they are. And it's all about the stars and following the stars, a map in the stars.
And
we get to see that a lot.
To that one tool, the MacGuffin is set up like straight away. Like we need to find, what is it, the Trident of Poseidon.
Yes, the Trident of Poseidon.
And that's it. Like the whole movie is just like, oh, Trident of Poseidon, I guess it does stuff.
Yes, pretty much.
They came up with the perfect one. They were like, you get to that thing and it breaks all the curses.
Yeah,
like,
dude, one
this is
second.
Like
there was
the
a
skeleton
lot of
key.
It was even the moment they decide. I feel like them realizing that breaking the Poseidon's, the Trident of Poseidon, was the writers also kind of figuring it out. It's like, wait, we break the time, we break the spell. And that's what happened. It really felt like that. There were a lot of moments where it felt like the writers were just figuring it out.
Pretty much.
They were figuring it out. Especially since there's been such a gap since the last film and this. You'd think that maybe they were in production or trying to think of a new
I think
way
it was supposed
to
to be done, right? After the fourth movie, and this one was a surprise.
It was supposed to be done after the third movie.
I think it's because... Do you think Johnny Depp has something to do with it? Obviously, because these movies are not going to be made without Jack Sparrow.
I'm guessing Disney has something to do with it.
He was not contractually thing, or maybe he's just like... he said, I'd be interested in doing one more if you want to do it. And they were like, okay, if he's doing it, we'll do one more.
So here's some money, throw some...
Yeah.
That's what all of them did, because Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley specifically said they didn't want to do the fourth one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they kind of put out a signal saying like, hey, we'd be open
Maybe
to doing the new one.
They had a free year or something. I don't know. They were just like, hey, you know what?
With how much they were in the movie, they needed like a free week.
A week?
Actually,
they were one location.
A couple of hours.
Yeah, one location, 6 shots, man. Seriously, not a week.
This is
true. A day.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what you guys thought of the film.
I enjoyed it. I mean, like, it's pirates. It's, I mean, like, you get what you expect. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that's like the assumption. I mean, like, the fourth one was so unmemorable.
The fourth one was terrible. The fourth one was not good.
Yeah,
I mean,
not.
This one was good.
Yeah.
It was fun. I enjoyed I thought the bank thing was funny at the start.
Yeah, that first set piece of them robbing a bank.
It
literally.
gave you this very, like, it's like a Jackie Chan kind of set piece, right?
But then that's
like
what
that action comedy show.
I feel like this is like that only.
This is,
actually, most movies have been
it's
like
from
that.
that same kind of this. Yeah. So I mean, like, I enjoyed that. I thought the end looked like, that whole thing with the parting of the sea and stuff like that. I thought that was like really, really kind of well looked.
Yeah, it looked great.
It looked amazing.
The visual effects on these films are always
right
excellent.
from the start. In fact, Javier Bardem's character, the effect on his hair,
amazing.
where like basically they die underwater, so it looks like he's submerged all the time. That was really cool.
And he's got like this aura of like ashes and stuff like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was the effects. Were really
neat
good.
effects. But again,
and he hams up the accent.
Oh, killer! I loved
Jack
it.
Sparrow.
Hombre. Dude, but that's why you can't tell me about him. He's good. He's such a dramatic guy.
He wants to choose scenery and he chooses scenery.
He does it. Dude, he's like one of the most memorable things in... not Spectre. What's the one? Skyfall, yeah.
Yeah, in Skyfall.
Yeah, like, he's the reason why I love that
He's a
movie.
great actor. I mean, like, No Country for Old Men.
Oh my God.
He's just ridiculous in that movie.
That's a classic.
Another movie where he has great hair.
Yeah. He just has great hair. He just has great hair. So you did enjoy it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, like, it was... it wasn't a good enough movie that I'll ever watch again in my life.
Probably.
Exactly.
But it was fun.
You know what's so funny? We've been talking about this a lot. Like when we say, okay, cool, what movie should we review? Right. What should we talk about and stuff? We were just like, oh, should we watch in the theater? We'll watch it when it comes out because we're not that interested. I'm like, dude, we should do the reverse because the theater is probably the only place you're ever going to watch it. You're never when it comes out and it's freely available. You're never going to watch it. So similarly for this film, before we went in for it, we didn't ultimately end up doing this, but like we were like, should we go watch it in IMAX in 3D? Because probably the best things about the film are going to be the way it's shot and the way it looks, and the 3D is going to be great. And it was pretty decent. It was quite nice. Yeah.
So here's a question though. This movie, and this is just something that just annoys me about like movies generally right now. Does this movie need to be 3D?
This one didn't. I don't think so.
I think it could have. I mean, I think it did well as a 3D film. I mean, like there's a lot of water effects. There's a lot of things. Like I find a lot of movies. And, I always used to think that movies converted in post-production and not shot as 3D.
Those are definitely problematic, right?
Yeah, those are always good. But then I've seen some films which are done, converted into stereoscopic and absolutely fine. I think it's just how much you commit to it. And I think a lot of the movies which do really well in 3D are the ones which plan their 3D shots a lot, right? So, and it's not just, just getting on the bandwagon. I think this movie felt like they had planned a lot of things. A lot of, like that one scene which really... was quite exhilarating was at the execution scene where he's going to be cut, his head is going to be cut off by the guillotine. And that really it was really well done.
That was really well done.
And I was like, that was like the highlight, I think, as a set piece in the film for me. Like, it was just the movie is going. It was funny and it was like, oh my gosh, is this actually going to happen? Wow, it was great. I really enjoyed that. But I wanted to ask you guys one question because I thought... Actually, first, Dinkar, tell me what you thought of the movie first.
I thought it was good, actually.
Yeah?
Especially because we walked in expecting a disaster.
That's exactly it. I went in expecting to be like, so my friend's kid, right, wanted to see the movie. And so my friend was like, hey, I got to go see the movie. Will you come with me?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, sure, I'll come see the movie. That's why I went. I expected to be bored and annoyed and just not have fun at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And it turned out to be
pleasant
good.
surprise.
Exactly. Pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And like we've picked apart the plot, but I mean, it's a pretty cookie cutter plot, right? But I feel like what worked was the sort of chemistry of the cast and like that like witty repartee that worked in the first one especially is sort of back.
Yeah, it's sort of. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because we have seen so many bad, good, excellent, mediocre impressions of the Jack Sparrow character.
Yeah. Right.
Is that when he came back, it's like, it feels like he's doing his own imitation of the character. It's like, it felt like fan fiction, like, oh, okay, this guy's playing Jack Sparrow. I've seen Jack Sparrow so many times, like, what's the novelty of this? And there were many lines where I felt like, I don't know, I feel like it's being overdone. I don't know, it's weird, right? Like, that's so strange. He made the character.
Yeah, but
so
it's
famous.
flanderized, right? I mean, like, he flanderized himself. I mean, he's become a caricature of his own.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I found that the really jarring thing of this movie. I thought he did have a good, like, number of, like, lines, like, really good one. Like,
really funny stuff.
He was funny. He's still great as Jack Sparrow, obviously.
She's a horologist.
Yeah, the horologist was
that was
good repartee.
Yeah.
that was a good scene. But I mean, just a lot of it, I felt like like I'm also kind of getting a little tired of the character of Jack Sparrow. I mean, like we all know him to be this funny, bumbling kind of oaf who just makes his way out of anything. And I've always thought, like, in the first movies, I would always think that everyone underestimates the power of Jack Sparrow. Like, he's actually really clever and he makes it look like an accident.
Right.
But in this movie, like, giving away, like, just from a complete story point of view, I mean, giving away the compass, just being a...
That seemed odd to me because wasn't that supposed to be, like,
his one thing? Yeah, and he does it for, like, a bottle of rum, like, literally.
And a pirate's life.
A pirate's life. Yeah, and I just felt like, this situation couldn't have gotten so worse that he's not had one like before in his life that he has to give away a very prized possession. And it's just, I mean, it felt contrived because that seemed to be the thing that releases Salazar also. It just felt like too much. So there's a lot of contrived moments in this script apart from the MacGuffin itself and, this whole Poseidon's trident thing. I mean, they didn't explain anything about Poseidon or the stars like that. It didn't. None of it just had any like depth.
No, there was no depth. But again, I was not expecting depth out of this movie.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted. I mean, like I got.
What I mean by that, it's like in the Black Pearl, like they have this real, like it's a cool myth that they do, right? Like they stole the treasure. It's a good story. Stole the treasure, and until they put all the coins back, they're undead.
This is the last piece that they have to put back.
I thought that was just had great story myth, and they build on it. And even the final moment when Barbossa's stabbed by, or Jack Sparrow's stabbed by, Barbossa, he still got the coin in his hand, and he's still alive. I just thought playing with that entire myth.
Those items had like a story behind them as compared to this, which is just like, it's the trident of Poseidon. Don't ask me no questions.
Yeah, no questions asked. It was just, that was my problem.
No, I'm not saying this was a great movie. I'm not saying that this movie had depth to it or anything like that. I had a better time than I expected to.
Yeah, I think
I don't know why we put you in the position of defend this movie, Amit. Explain yourself.
It's so weird, like, because even Dinkar and I, before we were going for this movie, we were also not really overwhelmed to be watching it to begin with. And we went on like something which we actually should never do, which is we go on Rotten Tomatoes and check the score if it's good. We were like, what do we need to do to watch it in IMAX? And it was like above 60%. And we checked and it was like 33% rotten. I was just like, yeah, this is not, we're not even doing
surprises me. That seems harsher than it deserves.
That seems harsh, by the way.
This seems like it's a 50% movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you why it should be less than 50%. I think the entire third act was just bad.
Are you talking about critics' reviews or audience reviews?
Critics' reviews.
So the audience reviews is like 70%.
That's what I'm saying. I always look at audience reviews because critics' reviews are generally, if they're going to be negative, they'll almost all be negative because critics come from the same place, right? They all are film theorists.
Exactly.
They all look at it from these particular kind of
Caribbean in front of them.
Yeah, so I mean, there was some other movie that I was watching recently. I can't remember what it was. Rotten Tomatoes critics reviews were like at 30-40%, but IMDb ratings were at like 70+% of it.
The Accountant, the most underrated movie I keep talking about. Have you seen it?
I have it, but I haven't seen it yet.
No one is going to watch it.
No, I have it.
You liked it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it's an amazing movie.
That's the
main producer. Yeah, but
I have it. I want to watch it. I haven't got a chance to yet, though.
I still think that's the Batman movie we deserved.
Yeah?
Yeah, it really is. Anyway, but to come back to this, like I was talking about The Circle, like that movie with Tom Hanks, Emma Watson. And I went for it, and it was atrocious, and it was so bad. And I came back home and I checked Rotten Tomatoes, and it was 15%. So I was just like,
15,
that makes sense, yes. And so that's why we also went on Rotten Tomatoes with this one. But I do think 33%.
No, but I feel like when you look at Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or something like that, you should look at the audience thing as well, especially for these kind of popular movies.
Yeah.
Because, listen, we like this stuff, right? If we didn't like this stuff, we would never go for this stuff.
We wouldn't be talking about it on
exactly.
our podcast,
so we like this stuff. So, if the audience has generally liked it, chances are we're going to like it.
Yeah. But the split has gotten more and more drastic. Like with Iron Fist, it was around 14% on Rotten Tomatoes and like 80 in the audience.
Wow.
So I think it's a fair middle ground between those two. Yeah, it should be like 40-50%.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Dude, you're giving statisticians nightmares by saying this kind of stuff right now.
It's like in between 14 and 80, somewhere around 40-50.
No, you're taking two different samples and you're trying to correlate them.
I'm saying my opinion was between those.
It's a rule of thumb for how to judge a movie's score on Rotten Tomatoes. Look at the critic reviews.
Divide by
divide by 2.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Multiply by ticket price.
Okay, cool. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back. We're going to talk about, maybe we talk about Johnny Depp, talk about other Pirates films. Do they even exist? We'll find out. Thank you, Amit, for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
Try and catch another movie before us sometime so we can
do
this.
Maybe, yes, please.
Yeah, maybe something like a little more thing than Pirates
something a little more interesting.
Maybe
we'll try and do Valerian. I'll try and sit in on Valerian.
Valerian, we did see the trailer of that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we will definitely try and do that.
We'll
soon.
do that.
Cool. Thanks, Amit.
All right, guys. See ya.
Bye.
That was Tantrik Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started atkt.in. Hi, I'm Ankur, I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through atkt.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. atkt.in.
Cool, guys, we're back. We're talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm with Dinkar. Hi, Dinkar.
Hey, Tejas.
Are we a little underwhelmed?
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
This is a very difficult one. Every time I say one, you say the other one. Or actually, Jishnu does this a lot.
Yeah, well.
Every time I'm going like, R. Then you're just like, it's the C.
Or if you say the C, it's the R. But
thanks for that.
Now it's an S with a line through it because pirates love dollars.
Wow, that's not a letter. That's not a letter.
It's an S with an I on top of it.
Do you know what the story is behind that?
The dollar sign?
Yeah.
Are we getting into like history
Trivia?
now?
I feel like the simplified guys would be able to tell us something like this.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because dollars ends with an S and... Well, dollars originally had 2 lines through it.
Yes. The Monopoly stuff had 2 lines through it. Why are we talking about this?
I have no
We're
idea.
talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
And let's talk about that post-credit scene.
Because the entire reason this new universe of pirates now exists is for the dollars.
We made that point absolutely clear.
I just wasn't sure. So yes, there was a post-credit scene which we hung
found
around
out
for.
Literally while exiting, we were just like, oh man, did they do a post-credit scene? I was so sure they did not, and I feel like an idiot almost assumed that now because it's like we're in an age of
every movie having a post-credit scene.
Every movie trying to convert itself into a franchise thus having a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping it would be a mid-credit scene, after they do
You know what? Screw you, Pirates of the Caribbean. You could have done one thing easily for everybody. Made everyone's life easier.
Yeah, you have like the main cast. You have like directed by. You have the title card. Then mid-credits scene.
Mid-credits is the way to go.
They start the black title roll, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to find out like every single VFX artist name before I can see like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And that is when inevitably you also start the game of like, hey,
Indian
Kumar,
guy.
Indian guy.
Dude, the whole VFX, they outsourced a lot of it in India. There were so many guys. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what is the post?
It's probably less special now that like literally everything's in like Chennai and Bangalore. Because now you're like, oh, Datta, Menon. And then you're like, wait a second. They're all Indian. This is not special anymore.
Okay. All right. Why did we go through all of that?
So apparently to find out, the post-credit scene, spoiler alert, is Orlando and Kira asleep.
And he's been saved, obviously.
Yeah, he's been saved. They're like safe, reunited and everything.
Yeah.
And Davy Jones' silhouette comes into the room. So you basically like hear the squishiness and you see tentacles.
And you don't see him because otherwise you'd have to hire Bill Nighy.
Again for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is what they did with
Love
Paul
Actually.
McCartney.
Oh, wait. I thought you were going to say Love Actually.
Love Actually, yes. But also with Paul McCartney in this movie.
Yeah, let's talk about Paul McCartney.
Yeah, wait, let me just finish describing the scene.
Yes, correct.
Orlando wakes up because this was all a dream. And I was like, shut your face. Did you make us wait all this time for
dream
that?
sequence?
Yeah. But then like the camera like sort of just goes down to the floor and you see these little barnacles. So apparently Davy Jones is like in dreams now?
No, I think
he's Freddy Kruegering it.
Or it means that somebody else has to become Davy Jones, you know, or somebody else has to become the captain of the flying. No, it was actually definitely
But Poseidon's trident broke all the... Okay, here's my theory. I'm going to pitch you Pirates of the Caribbean 6.
Oh no.
Davy Jones Locker.
That was already a movie, right? Okay, one, can we say all the names of the movies?
I actually can.
The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yes.
Then you have...
Okay, I messed it up already.
What is the next one?
On Stranger Tides is 4.
4.
At World's End is 3.
Nobody knows the second one. Is it Dead
Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest?
Yeah.
Is it Dead Man's Chest?
I feel like it's Dead Man's Chest.
I'm feeling it
also. It's
about
Davy Jones, right?
Boom, we got
And
it.
he keeps all the hearts in a chest.
Yes.
Or his heart in a chest.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
So I just googled Pirates 2 and some porno came up.
Yeah, you know, I was going to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so that was our producer. We were going to talk a little bit about Pirates of the Caribbean, then talk about why there aren't any like mainstream like pirate films, like what happened to like pirate films. But obviously the biggest pirate films are the two like pornos, like they're just called Pirates, I think. And
That's
they were inspired by Pirates
love
of the Caribbean.
booty.
This is true. And also it's like, this is a piece of trivia though, just for all of you guys, that it's like the most expensive porno of all time. I feel like Jishnu
Pirates 2?
Yeah, no, Pirates
is the most expensive porno of all time.
Yeah, it's the most expensitive, like produced to
really?
Produce, yeah, because they went all out, right? They went with like sets and costumes and
yeah. So this was the parody of the first Pirates.
Yeah, which is seems to be now it's only
Curse of the Black Pearl Necklace.
Oh god! All right, we did that. All right, cool.
I mean, so, maybe that is the name. I don't know.
I don't know. No, I don't think it's called that.
Okay.
I feel like Jishnu and I did an episode on porn parodies and erotic fan fiction. So that was episode number 11, like way back. And
that was a great
I feel like
one.
we may have talked about it on
Pirates? I don't remember. But then like a bunch of stuff came up.
Yeah, this is true. All right, so coming back to Pirates, can you pitching Pirates of the Caribbean 6?
Yes, okay. So Orlando Bloom is back, Keira Knightley's back. They're living a happy life together. Their son is like off having adventures with his new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Davy Jones has his curse broken in reverse now. So he was kind of freed by Will Turner, right? But now Will Turner's free, so Davy Jones become an Octopus Man again. And he's come back for revenge, to go like, dude, you gotta take my place.
So this is Davy Jones' revenge now instead of Salazar's revenge?
Pretty much.
Also, why is he called Salazar if he had a real name and stuff? Like, what's the deal?
I'm guessing Salazar was a famous pirate as well, like a Blackbeard type.
Okay. All right, sure. I'll take it.
Anyway, you mean my pitch for Pirates 6?
No, just the name aspect. Oh, but was that the end of your pitch?
That's the end of my pitch.
See, you know
Davy Jones is back.
Okay, so I really liked one part of this movie, the fifth one. I like that we got to see a little bit of the, origin of Jack Sparrow, even though it was a bit shallow.
But it was a decent sequence.
Yeah, it's a nice sequence, and we got to know why his name is Sparrow.
Yeah.
And I guess he doesn't have a surname.
Yeah, because he was standing there just like a little bird.
Yeah, this is true. And we also found out that if Pirates of the Caribbean was made in Hindi, it would be called Raj Sparrow because Jack is probably the most
Raj
common.
Chidia.
The most common name.
Rahul Chidia.
Rahul Sparrow. Okay. So anyway, coming back.
Yeah.
What else were we talking about in Pirates of the Caribbean? So we saw that the post-credit sequence. I thought it was a bit of a slap in the face because you know it almost felt like, hey, we don't know how well this movie is going to do, so we're just going to tease the idea that maybe something happened, but maybe it also didn't happen.
But I'm sure there's already a sequel in the works because it's doing fine.
The movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie was made at 230 million. And I think they've crossed 300 million. So they have not doubled their money by any means. And that was just the production cost.
But that's enough to
they've
make
more than
another
broke
movie.
even, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not enough to make another movie.
Why not?
Because they'll just keep making movies for what, like a mere 30 mil?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe not. But that's 30 mil now. You've got
who knows what the overheads are at Disney?
That's true. They've got to pay salaries and stuff.
Yeah, for
Bob
making...
Iger needs his cash.
And Menon and these
to
guys.
Pay. That's not that much. That is more than manageable in 30 mil.
This is true, yeah. Visual artists are like the poorest people of them
we
all.
should talk about them one day.
Yeah. No. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So, Johnny Depp, though.
Yeah.
Why is he doing this movie?
For the money. Apparently, he's in dire financial straits.
Is he the producer on these films?
Yes, and he's involved at like a script level as well.
Yeah, I can see
he's
that.
always been a part of like the story group of the Pirates movies.
So he decides that Keith Richards is his dad and Paul McCartney is his uncle?
Probably.
Wow. Yeah, he knows them very well.
Yeah.
This is true. He jams with them like pretty much all the time.
Yeah, exactly. With Paul as well. I know with Keith Richards
he's in Paul McCartney's music video, like one of the music videos.
What? Which one?
Oh, no, he's not in a music video. He's in a jam that they released, this black and white jam that they did while shooting a music video for Paul's album New. I think when New came out, he did...
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So he's there in that. He's just like basically just like there's like 8 people out of like who are jamming with Paul McCartney, and one of them is Johnny Depp. It's like
really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's like a 30-minute like video that's there.
Dude, the guy lives the life, huh?
So he's just like, do you want to be in my video? And that's it. And he's just like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. I'll just have to go get my guitar from Liverpool. That's
weird thing is, in both of those cases, I couldn't tell which one was Johnny Depp and which one was Paul McCartney. Johnny Depp is an American dude who's been playing a British character for like the past 20 years.
That's true. Just to quickly talk about that, because we never get to talk about this.
Yeah.
We always see British actors playing Americans, but we never see Americans playing Britishers.
Yeah, actually. That's not as much anymore. I feel like it used to happen more.
Yeah, why is that? Is that because they think only British people are thespians?
British people is like the easiest way to give your movie like some critical heft. Like, dude, I still can't believe that Kenneth Branagh directed the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
That dude is one of the most respected theatrical actors
he's
in
once again,
the
he's
world.
also a Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah.
And
that I get because all the Harry Potter movies was basically just like
who's left.
It was Harry Potter camp for all the great British actors.
Yeah, pretty much. Who's left? Let's just use him. Oh gosh, but yeah, I mean, so back to Johnny Depp. He just like
he's playing a British dude in real life.
What do you mean?
He just talks like that all the time.
Does he?
More or less. He doesn't have like a American accent anymore.
He just talks like that.
Kind of. He's gone weird.
Wow,
so
he's weird.
I was looking at a couple of articles.
What do you know?
Vulture.
What do you know about Johnny Depp?
It seems to me that he has become the Salman Khan of Hollywood. Apparently,
he's killing. Oh wait, what?
The Salman Khan of Bollywood in the sense that
killing it at movies, guys.
Killing it at movies and also like kind of killing crews and stuff. So apparently on the production for this movie, he would turn up to set like 3 hours late and stuff, and everybody would just hang around.
Is he not being? Is he being in character?
Maybe. Or at this point, I think he's just playing the character of Johnny Depp.
Depp, yeah. He is just behaving himself.
Yeah. Plus, he's in like all kinds of trouble, dude. Mm-hmm. Like there was that whole. He got divorced already, I think.
Who was he married to?
Amber Heard.
Aquawoman.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So he was married to her, except now she's accusing him of like domestic violence and stuff.
Oh no!
And it's like a messy legal battle.
I can imagine. His stars are crazy.
Seems like kind of a nut job. Plus, he's apparently lost a shitload of money and he's suing his accounting firm.
Is that why Pirates 5 exists?
Maybe. So he's in a weird place, which is a shame.
Because the last piece of PR or whatever I saw for this movie, I mean, like, put him like as a pretty cool guy. Like, he was apparently playing one of the, the animatronic characters from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, from which the movie is based on. So people were riding through the Pirates of the Caribbean thing one day, and they saw Jack Sparrow, who's now there because he's part of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. But he just started moving, and then he kind of starts talking. Yeah, and then it's actually Johnny Depp, and he's just...
That's kind of cool.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's PR. He's being paid a lot of money to do this.
That's true.
So that's Johnny Depp. Just doing some stuff, and clearly in trouble, but nobody really... I mean, I didn't know about that at least.
I mean, he's probably doing fine. He also seems like the kind of guy who could be in like all kinds of messes, but still get out of it. Yeah.
But what has he been doing of late? I feel like every time I see a trailer featuring Johnny Depp or like anything Johnny Depp, like people in the comments are just like, and these are, again, I'm going by commenters, statistics, but Johnny Depp is not favorable anymore.
Yeah, which is weird because he's gonna be playing a big part in our lives in the next 4 Fantastic Beasts movies.
This is true. He's Grindelwald. We have already spoken about this. But I just think that's very... I mean, it's just interesting, I guess one movie should just sort of... I mean, a Fantastic Beasts does as well as it should be doing, and it's really nice. I really
it will be fine, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he should be fine.
He should probably be fine. Yeah. Let's not worry ourselves over Johnny Depp. Which is... I just feel like it's a shame that he seems like he's hamming it up the entire time now. Because there was a time when he was a really, really great actor.
No, I think the thing is that he's always chosen roles which are like, wacky or weird. Mostly thanks to Tim Burton.
But in a very different way before than he does now.
But now it feels like he's choosing them so that he can just play bizarre stuff and then just be bizarre.
But now it's also loud, you know what I mean? Like the Mad Hatter is just basically another Jack Sparrow. Mort Decay, which was the last thing I remember him doing,
I didn't see
was just a random ass movie where again he's playing like a British kind of dude and like hamming it up the entire time.
Yeah, it was a huge failure, that movie.
Yeah, it was a very time pass movie.
You saw it?
I saw bits of it because I downloaded it going like, this should be interesting. And then I skimmed through it and went like, ugh, this is nonsense.
What about, Black Mask, which came out, I think, of a couple of years ago.
What is Black Mask?
Black Mask. It was basically where he's playing James Whitey Bulger, the Boston hoodlum. Yeah. So I had Benedict in it, and
yes, that had I remember it being reviewed well actually.
Yeah, it was fine. I saw a bit of it, but it seemed fine. But I feel like he's not got that thing anymore. Like Jack Sparrow, when Jack Sparrow came out, like the first film, oh my gosh, that must have changed his world. And now it's just like
he was already super successful.
Yeah, but I think this is his most popular character of all time. And it will be.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
Suddenly he had a shitload of money that he could lose.
Yes, this is true. All right, I think that's enough talking about Johnny Depp. Yeah. Maybe we'll do it another time.
Maybe someday we'll talk about his
work.
Yes.
But for now, let's talk about pirates because we haven't been doing that for 41 minutes and 14 seconds. But why do you think there's only a monopoly in this, genre? Pirates, action comedy is a genre, but like the pirate theme, it's not one that
Why there isn't that much of it?
Yeah, did Pirates of the Caribbean do so well that it literally made everyone go like, well, that's taken. But then everything else is as well, and they
probably because
it's
it's so unique. It didn't used to be because pirate books were always a big deal.
Yeah.
I feel like pirates were always around in popular culture. Like the first pirates I could think of, other than the ones from the Caribbean, are the ones from Peter Pan.
Exactly. So we were just talking about what are the other movies that have like pirates in them, which are really mainstream. All I could think was Hook. And then you came up with a brilliant suggestion. I was talking about how pirates were probably the superheroes of the earlier days because, there was an entire era full of, Douglas Fairbanks, Errol Flynn. That swashbuckling era was a real thing.
The pirates were basically like the superheroes, the Han Solos of the sea.
Yeah, exactly.
Going around being mercenaries, taking over ships,
taking
being
names.
Dreaded.
Yeah.
So they were the superheroes of that time. Yeah. And I was saying, and that's why in Watchmen, which is an allegory for like superheroes in our society,
right,
there's an entire sub-story which is about pirates.
Which is called Tales of the Black Freighter.
Yeah.
And Gerard Butler plays voices
the narrator,
the character in the. And dude, that was
it's a pretty great pirate story.
It's a great pirate story, and it's gruesome. It's like it's very dark. It's nothing like the Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's very dark, and it's got a really terrible ending.
It's actually pretty much a horror story.
Yeah, it is a horror story. Yeah, but amazing, dude, and like that's actually a really interesting kind of thing that. Like what we kind of just merely assumed that pirates they were definitely in this case. I mean, if Alan Moore is saying so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because that was the action hero. You're right, like it was the Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
The guy who's not like a really clean-cut kind of guy, but like, really interesting and heroic.
Yeah,
and
shades of
like
grey.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why you also, like most of the pirates we know would be from books when they were this two people, like kidnapped and,
the treasure of Sierra Madre.
Yeah.
And Treasure Island. Yes, of course. And the other when I
these
think
are
of
all those great classic books.
illustrated classics.
Like
we all read
drawing
them.
on the side.
And the caption and
yeah.
Oh my god, I learned so much.
Yeah.
But I think nowadays when I think of pirates, and obviously not Pirates of the Caribbean, I think of Assassin's Creed because they had an amazing game from it called
Based on pirates.
Yeah, so
I know nothing about
so
this.
you know the Assassin's Creed story though.
In general, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the eras that they chose to go into was to one of the main characters' grandfather, and you like go back and into the 1700s, 1600s, the era of piracy and things like that, which is not now, but but back then, and you play the entire the open world map is the entire Caribbean, and you have to go from Nassau to Kingston, different places, and you're basically playing a pirate who becomes an assassin, and it's awesome. It's really cool because you get to take your ship called the Jackdaw and physically sail it between islands, and you can just it's open world, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge map, and it's literally one of the better games from that entire franchise. And I think of it as that, and they've really get the whole really blue, green sea, sand, storms, everything. That classic, pirate adventure.
Nice.
So that's one Pirates I think of.
Yeah.
And the second thing is a game that we both love.
Yes.
Called
an entire game series.
Yeah, called Monkey Island.
Yeah.
By LucasArts.
LucasArts, yeah.
Yes.
So, after the first Pirates came out, the guy who made who made Monkey Island, I forget his name. Ron Gilbert. Yes, Ron Gilbert.
Yes.
Did talk a bunch about how they basically ripped off the style of Monkey Island.
Yeah.
And he wasn't too happy about it.
Ooh, as in Pirates of the Caribbean stole Monkey Island style?
Which I can see.
Yeah, of course.
Because there was also a Monkey Island movie being developed at one point that got shelved.
What, with Guybrush Threepwood?
Yes.
The principal character, the hero. Well, I feel like no one's going to know about these games. They came out very early in the 90s.
Tell us what Monkey Island is.
So there are these games, basically that are exclusive to the 90s. And this is the time where, games were just coming of age and stuff like that. And LucasArts, obviously the spin-off of Lucasfilm and stuff, started creating some really memorable games because they had the best talent in the world working there probably, and so they came up with a genre that Ron Gilbert invented, the genre of a point and click adventure.
Yeah.
And it's basically where it subverted the whole thing about games needing to kill people or action or jumping and things like that, and made it more cerebral and made it funny. Yeah. So they made these games kind of you have to collect objects, solve puzzles, and made it really fun and like an adventure. Yeah. And then they would write these amazing storylines, out of which they made one game called Monkey Island, which was the one we're talking about, and it's set in this completely Caribbean thing, but it's got such a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
That if you had to defeat if you're one-on-one battle sword fight with somebody, there's no physical sword fight. You have to throw insults. Yeah. You have to throw insults, and whoever has the better insults wins. And sometimes they change how you can win. Some insults have to make sense, some have to rhyme well to kind of win. So they were really clever about it, and
they were also really hard.
Yeah, those games were, you couldn't do them without a walkthrough.
And we weren't used to those kind of game mechanisms, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I think, you know what, Dinkar, we should do a game. We should do one of these games because they've just been recently remastered.
Yes.
I would say recently, I mean in the last 2-3 years. But a lot of these LucasArts games, because the company has since shut down, I've actually done an article on some of those on Telltale, and we have spoken briefly about
LucasArts became.
Yeah, pretty much. So the point and click adventure still lives on through these remasters. Dinkar, we should totally play and do a video of
us playing. Because it's also just such a great story.
Great story, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
which is why I get them being upset about pirates.
Yeah, you'd think that, but my thing is that, how can you not steal like the very basic
That's true.
elements of it, unless they're talking about the comedy of Pirates of the Caribbean.
The idea of a pirate comedy
being funny,
yeah. I mean, Monkey Island invented that. No, I can't think of a funny.
I think they nailed it. Yeah,
they nailed it.
Yeah, no one had done it funly because pirate adventures are usually gruesome, or they're scary, or they're fun, like adventure-y kind of.
Maybe it's because a Monkey Island movie was being developed. Pirates came out, and then they're like, well, we can't do it now because we're going to look like, a Me Too franchise.
Sure. Yeah, especially because of the comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay, cool. So those basically are the only things I can ever think of in terms of like pirate-based stuff. But otherwise, I don't have any other. Like, I don't know why. Yeah, I. All right, cool. So that is our episode. A couple of interesting things before we sign off. Dinkar, you want to tell them what we have been up to recently?
Yes, we have just launched a brand new show on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/geekfruithq. It's called The Nerdatorium, and every week, Wednesdays, or you can watch it on Thursday, I'm not going to judge, we talk about stuff that's in the air and talk about it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a good time. So
yes,
come
it's our
watch
weekly
us there.
Nerd Out.
It's our Nerd Out, yeah.
Yes, this is true. And not that this is actually a weekly Nerd Out because we get to speak, for a long time. Over there, we're going to be talking about stuff in like very small,
smaller sections. And like more current stuff probably. Like the first episode is Jishnu and I talking about Wonder Woman.
Yeah, which is out this week, but obviously at the time of this recording, it's probably, at the time of this recording, it's out in a few days, but when you hear this, it's probably going to be out already. So if you want to know what we thought before the movie came out, you can definitely check about it. But we're going to be talking on this podcast
But we don't just talk about Wonder Woman, we talk about female-led superhero movies in general.
Yeah, this is true. So we have the Geek Fruit podcast, which comes out on Mondays on IVM, and we have the Nerdatorium, which is out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/geekfruithq. As for everything else on Geek Fruit, you can find it by that same handle, at geekfruithq, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can go to our website, which has everything, actually.
Yeah, all of this in one place.
geekfruit.in. Dinks, what is your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is @DinksThinks.
And I am at Tejas Menon. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you thought about Pirates of the Caribbean. Or not. I don't know.
How about, can you tell us what a pirate's favorite letter is?
Okay, yeah. And if it's... Okay, no, actually no. But, or you can tell us if we have missed out on anything other pirate-themed stuff. Then because I'd like to know. I think pirates can go a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's something out there which I'm missing. But anyway.
Probably.
Yeah.
Captain Phillips, Naveen mentioned at
this
one point.
is true. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I think...
let's call it.
No, let's end with a sea metaphor. It's time to dock this ship.
Yeah, let's go ashore.
Okay, cool. Bye, guys.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out IVM Podcasts to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.